Welcome to Moose Plays, everyone. I'm the Liquor Moose, and today we will be going over my Week 6 team builder of the 8th season of the GPC. This week, we're up against the Baltimore Oriolus, coached by Ben AKA ShinySableye. And might I say, first of all, Ben, great team name, love it. But secondly, as far as our team's going, not doing so hot. Currently 1-4. Pretty much, if we're not already mathematically eliminated from playoffs, we basically have to win out in order to get in. There's no doubt about that. If we are mathematically eliminated, then hey, I guess that's okay too. We're definitely just going to try our best. But let me tell you, Ben's team is quite scary, but I still think it's a winnable match. Yeah, let's go over Ben's team right now. He got the Kyurem Black, Jirachi, Megaane, Tornadus Therian, Alamamala, Skuntank, Emboar, Rotom Base, Audino, Tangela, Masquerain, and Sandslash. His Z user is the Tornti. It's the only one he has. So obviously, the big thing that stands out when looking at Ben's team is the insane Fairy Dragon Steel Core that he was able to put together. A very expensive Fairy Dragon Steel Core, albeit, but still a very, very, very good one. Obviously, those three are very scary offensively. As well, Z Tornadus is kind of a threat. Not in the threat that that it's going to be OHKOing a lot of stuff, but a threat as in, since my walls in general on my team don't have a lot of good recovery, Tornti's going to get like solid chunks off of them and then just like basically U-turn out and pretty much heal whatever damage it took, I guess. Also, forgive me if I just kind of pause randomly because it is currently 2 o'clock in the morning and I came from a Magic tournament where I didn't do so hot, but hey, you gotta get the recording times when you get them. But anyways, other than the top 4, I can see the Emboar presenting a problem, but other than that, those are really the main offensive threats, and I think the rest of his team, my offense, can kind of deal with those. So I guess let's start with just going over my team. So first off, we have one mid-game breaker, which is Whimsicott. If you look at Ben's team, one of the biggest flaws of Ben's team is that his only fairy resist is Jirachi. Granted, his only fairy weakness is Kyurem, but everything else gets hit neutrally by fairy, which means Moonblast is very spammable against his team. With Pixie Plate boosted, it's going to be dealing a lot of damage to a lot of Ben's team. And basically, the reason I'm Pixie Plate is basically by spamming Moonblast, I basically want to be bluffing Specs, and then hopefully when Ben thinks he's safe because I'm locked into a move, I can kind of pull the trigger and trick him with mostly the Shadow Ball on the Jirachi, which unfortunately doesn't do a ridiculous amount since because of Whimsicott's low special attack stat, plus Shadow Ball isn't stab and it's only 80 base power. But yeah, and then also Giga Drain, mostly for the Sandslash, but also just secondary stab. That's good and can give him recovery. And then U-turn, obviously, because pivot heavy is how I like to play. Even though this team isn't really that pivot heavy this time around, but U-turn on an offensive mon can always gain you momentum, especially for scouting what his switch-ins to this are. But yeah, not too much to say about this. The speed here is for the Megaane, obviously. Yeah, that's pretty much Whimsicott, not too much to say. Next up, another mid-game breaker, the Weavile, as, originally I had Tentacruel in here because another kind of flaw of Ben's team is that his hazard removal isn't the greatest. He has, Defog Tornti, Defog, Skuntank, and, Rapid Spin Sandslash, and then he has Magic Bounce on Megaane, which is actually which is legit. But, I originally had Tentacruel here because I was going to T-Spike him, and then as well just have Rapid Spin for my own. But at the same time, as we'll see later with my other mons, they're going to be heavily pressured with some of his other offense, and not Emboar. What I was going to say is Tentacruel can kind of relieve my 2 wall duties of Emboar, because it's actually an okay check to Emboar that isn't carrying Wild Charge, but I'm sure if he does bring Emboar, it will be bringing it. But anyways, after talking it over with the FO, they said I need to bring either Weavile or Megaane to outspeed the Tornti. I went with Weavile because I have a very high suspicion that his Sandslash is coming and is going to be wearing an Assault Vest to strictly deal with the Megaane. So Might as well take advantage of that and go with my Weavile to kind of just stop his Sandslash, I guess, if he brings it. Bandit Icicle Crash obviously dents his team real hard. Bandit Low Kick actually does quite a bit to his team as well. It's a roll to Oko offensive Kyurem Black, and it's a guaranteed 2-hit KO on offensive Emboar. And then obviously Knockoff is very spammable just in most cases, mostly for the Jirachi. But then I wanted Ice Shard in case, in the dire case where his Mega Diancie is able to get a Rock Polish up, I did want the priority there just to pressure it instead of just having to sit there because I can't outspeed this. The speed is actually here for Scarf Emboar, as I hit 377, Torn T hits 375, and Scarf Emboar hits 376. So didn't have to invest too much more into it, but since it's only 1 point, I figured, you know, I can't be too careful when it comes to speed ties, so I might as well get the advantage on that. But yeah, other than that, pretty straightforward stuff from Weavile, just here to be a mid-game breaker. Now, next up we have our kind of wall core for the match, and when I did the calcs, obviously I had to look at his like big offensive mons, but when I did all the calcs for what I'm about to say for my wall core, keep in mind I basically had Life Orb, max attack, non-boosting nature for both attacks when I was looking at this, because his Kyurem, not really the Jirachi, the Kyurem, possibly the Mega Diancie, but definitely the Torn T, so mostly Kyurem, Torn T, have a very high potential of being mixed. So in order for me to like kind of meld the EVs properly, I needed to take into account max attack, max special attack, Life Orb, even though I know that's more than likely not going to show up because otherwise he's not investing in speed, and that's not a really good thing. But anyways, as far as especially defensive Registeel goes, it's pretty obvious. It's the Mega Diancie stop. I believe Moonblast is I think it's at best a 3-hit. I actually don't remember if it's a roll to 3-hit. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was. So yeah, this is a very, very reliable switching into the Mega Diancie. With Stealth Rock, obviously, I don't expect it's going to be tricky. I really don't expect the Diancie to stay in on the rocks, but I mean, obviously, I have a safe click on Iron Head when I switch this into the Diancie, because Iron Head, even without investment, is a guaranteed knockout. We're running double status on this with Toxic Thunder Wave. The Toxic, obviously, here for his bulky stuff. The Kyurem, kind of, the Torn, definitely, but mostly the big two are the Alamamala and the Autono. Those are the big ones to hit Toxic with. Thunder Wave is here specifically for Scarf Jirachi. I think Scarf Jirachi makes a lot of sense against my team, and I've had troubles with Scarf Jirachi in the past with just the way my teams have been formed. So I decided I'll also run Thunder Wave on this to have the double status on this Registeel, as I think it'll prove very good. The thing with this is that if he does switch in the Diancie, I don't know why he would ever switch in Mega Diancie on this, but the Toxic gets Magic Bounce back, but I'm immune to it, and then the Thunder Wave, this thing's already slow as hell anyways, so yeah, even if his Jirachi is physical Scarf, which I mean most Jirachis are, it's not doing anything with like Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, or anything. Even Fire Punch, I don't think Fire Punch isn't a 2-hit KO just because of, again, not stab and has a low base power anyways. So yeah, pretty standard stuff for Registeel, especially defensive Registeel is like a no-brainer. Like I'm just really thinking about this now, but honestly, like, me bringing Registeel is so obvious that he might not bring Mega Diancie, just as the same as, like, I'm thinking he's going to bring AV Sandslash, so I'm not bringing Manectric. Like, it's honestly could be the same thing. But yeah, this was pretty much a no-brainer specifically because of the Jirachi, and this does take on Special Torn T relatively well, barring its Z Focus Blast. Then I think it does a min 75%. And then past that, it's a roll to 2-hit KO, plus he has to hit the Focus Blast anyways. And then obviously this thing can eat Hurricanes. But yeah, so that's the Registeel. Next up we have the Uxie, and again, with the same thing with like I had to look at like, you know, mixed attacking, like max attack with both attacks and a life orb, even though I don't think it's possible. But yeah, we're running like a mixed defensive Yuxi because Kyurem Black just has like can pretty much do anything. The special defense is here, so that way max special attack, Life Orb, Ice Beam is a 3-hit KO since I can't bring it down to anything. I can't bring it down to a guaranteed 4-hit KO. I can only bring it down to can I bring it down to a guaranteed 3-hit KO? I don't think I can bring it down to a roll to no, yes. I can bring it down to a roll to 3-hit KO with Ice Beam. The physical investment I have brings it down to a guaranteed 3-hit KO on Dragon Claw. So basically with this, I'm guaranteed, like, he can't 2-hit KO me. His Kyurem Black cannot 2-hit KO this Yuxi, barring he has Outrage. If he has Outrage, there's no, like, even max defense can't, like, gets 2-hit KO'd by it. So I wasn't too worried about that. And then obviously, once again, the speed is for, just to mess with his speed creeping a bit. If he runs no speed Kyurem, even though I don't think that's a thing, then I guess I outspeed that. But yeah, I need to run mixed defenses as Torn T also cannot 2-hit KO me, barring he is Z Dark Pulse, which, I mean, it's a pretty specific thing for Yuxi. But yeah, it doesn't get, I don't think it gets 3-hit KO by Hurricane. Or no, it might. I think it's a guaranteed 3-hit KO from Hurricane, but everything else is roll to 3-hit KO. Again, like the mixed defenses with looking at like what his mixed attacking potential could be, I needed to basically be prepared for the worst. As far as the moves go, I need to U-turn out on this because, I need to U-turn on this because I need to see what a switch into this is. If he plans to after Mega Evolution, if he plans to switch Mega Diancie in on this, predicting Toxic to bounce it back, I need to U-turn out just to scout basically what a switch into this is. Toxic again is here for the Alamamala because that thing is just way too bulky. And then Knockoff again, like it's pretty spammable for most matches other than in this case the Mega Diancie. Also to pop the potential Culver Berry on the Rotom, he's brought that a few times. So I think that's important. And then we have Memento here. Originally this was Heal Bell in case the Diancie did come in on my Toxic and I could just Heal Bell it off. But after consideration, I felt Memento was better for this match because as you can see with my last two Mons, I do have some setup Mons which once they get set up, Ben has a very, very difficult time switching into these. So going into this one, we do have well, I mean, what a surprise! D-Dance Haxorus with Dragonium Z. It's just too good. It's so reliable when I get set up, and it's just against Ben's team. It does make a lot of sense. With at +1 attack, Dragon Claw is a guaranteed OHKO on max HP Kyurem. Earthquake, I think the only Jirachi set that doesn't get OHKO'd is basically Fizdef. I needed Z Dragon to at +1 guarantee OHKO Tornadus Therian, and then Mega Diancie gets bopped by Earthquake as well. And then the rest of his team, honestly, I think his best chance of surviving this would be either Fizdef Tangela, which doesn't really make sense because I do have the Manectric, and if he doesn't bring the Sandslash, then the Tangela is definitely coming to check the Manectric, so it would be Special Defense, or Physically Defensive Sandslash if he does go that way, but even then, Z-Dragon does bop it. I needed Superpower here to hit KO the Autono because that thing is actually quite bulky. But yeah, other than that, Ben has a very, very hard time switching into this if I get to +1, both speed and and attack. Obviously, if I haven't gotten the Thunder Wave off on the Jirachi, I will have to try to get to +2 because there's always the chance that that thing is scarfed and it'll still outspeed Haxorus at +1. So I need to look into that. And again, the speed once again is just there for the Kyurem because that's the thing I can speed creep. Now the other thing that Ben has a very, very hard time dealing with is once again, I mean, most teams have a hard time dealing with Landorus, but I think Ben especially has a little bit of time. If I can get his entire team worn down, then this thing just runs through his team. So, obviously the speed is to creep the Jirachi. If I can set up a Rock Polish, Ben's only form of legitimate priority that I can see is Sucker Punch on either Skuntank or Emboar, neither of which Oko, obviously. I honestly don't know if Emboar's even 2-hit KOs. Skuntank probably does, only because it's stab, and he probably runs Adamant. Yeah, because I don't think he needs to speed creep all that much with its speed tier. My team's pretty fast. They're all the speed tiers are kind of clumped into one space. But anyway, that's a totally different discussion. But yeah, if I can set up a Rock Polish, it might honestly just be GG. With this investment, I basically, the goal of this was to look at the physical investment because, like, obviously Earth Power Sludge Wave does a lot. I just needed to decide on the coverage move, and looking at this, it was definitely the Rock Slide. So with this investment, I can guarantee Oko Torn T with enough bulk investment that it's speed creeping my Whimsicott. Which also in turn guarantees a 2-hit KO on a max HP cure I'm carrying leftovers. And then it's also a 2-hit KO on Rotom, which Knockoff couldn't get if it was holding a Colbur Berry. So that's basically why I went with Rock Slide. That was the big reason to go with Rock Slide over Knockoff, was honestly the Colbur Berry Rotom, since it's immune to Earth Power and resists Sludge Wave. I do kind of like, especially defensive Rotom doesn't really make sense. Like, it makes sense in one sense, only because Earth Power Sludge Wave is like the obvious coverage on Landorus, but you don't really see Rotom really in that role of like specially defensive, especially not base Rotom. Like, if it was Rotom Wash, it would make sense. But anyways, yeah, Tangela, there's even a chance, even if it's specially defensive with Eviolite, it honestly like, Sludge Wave is a guaranteed 2-hit KO. I don't remember if it has a chance to Oko or not. I don't think it does. Especially defensive Sandslash, actually, like, if it's carrying AV, does actually tank Earth Powers relatively well. If it's just max HP, then Earth Power bodies it. Rock Slide hits the Masquerain, and then Emboar, Skuntank all drop to it. I don't remember if max HP Aloe gets 2-hit KO'd by Earth Power. I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I could see it surviving. But yeah, and then obviously Diancie drops to Earth Power, Jirachi drops to Earth Power. Basically, if I can just wear down his team, like, Landorus is a huge threat to his team that he needs to address. I think Haxorus is too. I think if Haxorus gets the +1, I think it can body Ben's team. But yeah, basically, these two setup mons just look way too good against Ben that I originally had Heal Bell on this, but I needed to put Memento on because if I can set up with one of these two, they could honestly just like sweep from there. So yeah, that's the team. Again, it's pretty much do or die for us if we even want a chance to make playoffs. If that's even possible anymore, I honestly don't know. But yeah, you can bet damn well that I'm going to try my best to try to win this match. So keep your eye out on the channel tomorrow for when the battle goes live. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.